Hi everybody, we're back for session 2 of our quarantine home therapy sessions. And today we're going to talk about working on head and trunk control. So I'm going to give you kind of the background of how we work on that, the progression, and then some activities that you can do and how you can modify it to make it a little easier, a little harder. And here's my little disclaimer again. Sometimes I know it's hard for parents to figure out exactly where in this progression their child might fall. We don't want to give a child an activity that's too easy. We don't want to give them an activity that's too hard. And it's hard to figure out exactly what is that just right challenge. But that's where your occupational and physical therapist really shines. If you contact them if you're having trouble, and they can really help you figure out exactly where your child falls in this progression and where you can work from. So first thing we're going to work on today is head control, because that's the first thing that we develop as babies. So when you think about a baby who is learning to hold their head up, that's what they do first. And then they learn to kind of prop, sit, and hold their body up and hold themselves up with their arms. And then they learn to sit up by themselves. So we're going to follow that kind of same progression when we work on these things. We're going to do it from the floor first. So you can, if you have a mat or like a yoga mat, or you can just, put a couple of blankets down to work on that from the floor level. If you want to make it a little bit harder, we have a little stool or a little, if you have a little bench or something at your house that the child can sit on, that's going to make it a little bit harder. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then our last thing that we're going to do to make it really hard, if you have like a therapy ball or a yoga ball at your house, we're going to do the activities from that level. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how to work on head control from the floor level, and I have Hadley here today. She's going to be our model and help us out. So the first thing we're going to do is basically do some tummy time. That's why we really like babies to do tummy time, because the first thing they're working on is their head control. So if you're working on that at home, or I know some of my kids at work, we're working on that too, then we can do some easy tummy time exercises from the floor. Actually, let's start on your back. I like to start kids on their back, so that way I can... Sorry for the interruption. We had other children knocking on the door. Because everybody's home right now, so you're feeling the same pressure. Okay, let's practice working on our head control. So I like to start kids off on their backs so we can help them roll over so they can learn what it feels like to roll over. So I'll give a little bit of help, and then she's going to roll over. You can kind of prop their arms underneath their body to work on picking that head up. That's good. I like to give a little toy in front of them that they can look at. If you're really working hard, you can reach for the toy. Can you show everybody how you can reach for the toy? Yeah, that's really going to work that head and trunk control, to be reaching from that position. Okay. And then when you're done doing that, you can just do it for as long as they can tolerate. When they start getting tired, drooping their head, or getting fussy, they can be done. So then we're going to practice rolling back to your back. I'm going to give a little help, and they're going to roll. All right, now come sit by me. Now I'm going to show you some activities from a sitting position. So can you sit crisscross? Okay. So when we're working on trunk control, sitting from the floor, we're going to work from the top down again. So I'm going to give more support by giving support higher up. And then I'm going to give less support, less help, by giving support lower down. So we're going to start, I'm going to give some support right under the armpits right there. Maybe turn to the side. So if I give support right under the armpits right there, that's giving a lot of help. And then as they can start doing that, then you can move down to maybe about their ribs, and then you can move down even to the hips. And if you want to make it more challenging, you can give stuff to reach for. You can put stuff all around them, let them reach, and then come back up. Come back up. We don't have it on. You're going to be thankful because it's annoying. Here, turn this way. Another thing I like to do is give toys at a little table, so kids don't have to like look down or reach down. If we're giving more support, we can give them toys at a table, so that way they can just reach right in front of them. And of course you want to kind of stay by them so they don't fall over in all of these activities. And then one more activity that we really like to do, therapists love bubbles because kids love bubbles, right? So we can blow bubbles and they can reach to pop them. That really keeps them engaged. And we're giving all these activities because that is based on research. That there's a lot of research that shows us if you give kids activities that they like while they're doing these exercises, then that keeps them engaged. That helps them to work harder and work for a longer period of time, and they have better outcomes. So we're not just going to sit on the floor. I mean, we're going to make sure we're giving them activities to do. If you want to blow bubbles, if you're giving support, you might not be able to blow bubbles at the same time. That's a good time to bring in big brother or sister, because little kids especially love to have that time with their big brother and sister. So bring in some help for somebody to blow bubbles with you. All right, now I showed you how to do all the activities from the floor. So we're going to show you how to make it a little bit harder. Come sit right here on our bench. Sit with your feet forwards like that. There you go. So then same thing, we can do all these activities, but sitting on the bench, and that makes it a little bit harder. And you can still give some support at the hips if you need to. Don't walk away from them while they're sitting on the bench, of course. We don't want them to fall over. And same thing, you can get bubbles or some toys for them to reach for while they're sitting here. And that makes it a little bit harder. And then if we want to make it really hard, stand up for a second. We're going to put them on the ball. So wait, let me get it in front of me. I'm going to show you how to do those activities from the ball. So the ball is really hard because they don't have their feet on the floor. It's not stable. So I'm definitely, even for Hadley, going to give her some support at her hips and at her thighs right there. And she can work on reaching for toys from that position. Pretend like you're reaching for a bubble. Reach for a bubble and then come back to the middle. You can also practice giving some balance challenges by rotating to the side and see how she kind of is pulling her body back. That's a good riding reaction. That's what we want to see. There she goes again. She's pulling her body back. You're such a good model. So we can just give some little balance challenges, and we want to see them starting to pull their body back to the middle. Okay.